Welcome to the Triple D Podcast, Donuts, Disability, and Discourse, where host Michael Leiner talks to the best in the business about community, impact, business, and donuts. Here's your host, Michael Leiner.
Welcome to another episode of the Triple D Podcast, Donuts, Disability, and Discourse. I have Jake and Tony D'Orazio, and I'm so excited that you guys are here because you kind of hit everything that's important to us on this podcast in terms of the mission of your organization, what you guys do. We've worked together on other projects in the past, and it's always been a pleasure. I know you guys, we had a resource fair a few weeks ago that you guys came out to and represented, but tell me, pretend I don't know, tell me about Jacob's Ladder.
Okay. We started when Jacob was real small. I was talking to his doctor. And
How old are you now, Jake?
I think one of 5 or something. One that time.
How old are you now, Jake?
Well, I'm 23 right now.
23.
Yeah. When he was an infant,
When I was an infant.
I told the doctor, I said, he's not going to be inactive. And I even said, doctor, I said, I'll love him and spank him just like a regular kid. My wife goes, you can't say that.
And I think that's why he needs to wear shirts with the sleeves cut off now, because he's always just waiting to punch you back.
That's right.
His boxing gloves are, he brought them in here somewhere. No, you had the big gloves here.
Yeah, he brought them just in case.
Just in case Dad gets mad.
Yes. And now it is getting to the point where, like when we box and he hits me with that right hand, I'm like, oh, that dude's got a good right hand. So we wanted to serve other people in the disability community with exercise and fitness. As you guys probably know, the obesity rate for people in disability is higher than the already high standard rate.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make an impact on that. And exercise obviously is good. And our parents, through their Christian faith, taught us to serve other people. So we thought, well, let's just continue that. Sure, we do regular, like weekly exercise programs. We're at various places around Greater Cleveland. We're in Bedford. We're in Strongsville. We're in Cleveland. We're at the Achievement Centers in Strongsville on Thursdays. We're at various day programs. We have one in Medina that we do twice a week, and so we're kind of all over the place in a way doing programs. We do some day programs for companies, and then we do some fitness programs, and so we're spread out, which is good. We try to touch everybody, and we don't have a quote facility because we'd rather go into the community and either do it at a church or a day program where we can reach more people. So one of the things that's kind of unique is that we have 3 individuals from the special needs community that are instructors, and one of them is Jake. Jake is he went through a course. He's a certified fitness instructor for people with disability. He's also a certified boxing instructor for people with Down syndrome. And that's one of the other things we've done, Mike, is we've done boxing programs, the basics of boxing. We went to, where Strong Style is in Independence, where Stipe trained.
Right.
And so we've been there a few times, and we've done like 6-week courses on the basics of boxing. And he teaches it, and I teach it. And we both took courses, and he actually trained with a group of typical guys for over a year there. He got no slack. He got yelled at.
Sounds like
that's
your
kind of
house.
motivation.
Sounds like our house, yeah. And to me, that's the ultimate sign of treating him with respect.
Yeah.
Treat him with respect, and say, hey, you can do this, son. And I remember one trainer, Sergio, yelling at him, Jake, get your butt down when you plank, and he did it, and he did fine, and he competed with those guys, and it was great. And they loved him, and he liked it. So what I learned from that is, I knew this already anyway, but have enough respect to have expectations.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, it's expectations with grace. We call it expectations, but have some grace. And but at the same time, let's get moving, and let's. Sometimes we tend to let our kids sort of slide a little bit, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so we've tried not to do that, but so that's how we started. We're about 12 years now, and I've got 3. Like I said, Jake's one of them. I got a young man on the spectrum that's one of our trainers, and the young lady that's has some disabilities, and they're all 3 trainers, and they all have really good hearts.
Tell me about how faith plays a role in what you're doing. So
Well,
it's a Christian-based organization.
Right. Our parents, we grew up in Avon,
Okay.
and our parents were good Catholic people, and they taught us how to serve. As an example, sometimes at home, we would have we'd come home, there's 5 of us kids. And
We're talking about your house growing up, Tony.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. There'd be somebody that my mom and dad would say, well, so-and-so is having some kind of issue at home, or he doesn't have a home, and he's going to come and stay with us for a while. So it was always like that, or there was always somebody coming for dinner. And so the parents, they taught us to serve. And so we wanted all 5 of us serve in some way. My way is just doing Jacob's Ladder. So we wanted to serve. We wanted to serve others. And that's kind of what motivated me.
So in your programming, are there like religious overtones, or is it really just focused on the physical fitness and teaching wellness?
There are, if like our home base is Christ Church in it's actually in Columbia Station, but it's really right next to Strongsville.
Okay.
It's the first property in Columbia Station. We, after those workouts on Tuesday nights, we'll do a little Bible lesson, we'll pray, we'll have some interaction with the students, and they'll participate. Now, we understand sometimes if we're in a secular organization and they may not want us to pray, we get that. But as our mom taught us, she said, tell people about how much Jesus loves them and use your mouth if you have to. So we're trying to, do it, let our actions show. And we actually recently received a grant from an organization, and one of the people that was in charge said, you guys are a Christian organization. Is that going to be a problem? And I sort of laughed. I said, we don't make you pray, but you got to plan.
I would much rather pray.
Yes.
Because, when I go to the gym in the morning and they ask me to do planks, I'm just hanging on for dear life.
So, so we are faith-based, but we, like I say, we understand certain situations and certain places where we go, but we still want to serve. We also started a Christian fellowship group for people with disabilities, which is...
Tell me about that.
It's based on Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and they have groups all over the world, as you probably know.
They have camps too.
They have camps. Thank you. And
did you attend any of those camps ever?
Oh yeah, we attend a lot of them.
We have done so us and another young man, he actually drove it, and we came along with him, started an FCA camp for people with disabilities. It's called the All Abilities Camp. And there's one in Avon on October 21st. And so where you go to like an FCA basketball camp or football camp, this is an FCA camp specifically for people with disabilities. And me and Jake are the fitness station. So they go to various stations. They go to a football, a soccer, and then they come with us, and they do some fitness exercise. And we have boxing that we do and that kind of thing. So that really is... We really feel great about that. And then we also started a huddle group. A huddle group is like a group of people that meet in the FCA model. They meet weekly or whatever and get together, study the Bible, pray. So we do that with a group of people in the disability community. Just like you would in a regular FCA huddle group, we do that. We do that once a month in Berea. And it's the same focus. And so there's people with physical disabilities, there's people with mental disabilities, and everybody comes together.
Some of them can't really hear.
Some of them can't hear.
They can't hear.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to speak.
Yeah.
We have one particular. There's a couple of people that is hard to understand, but there's people there that kind of interpret for them.
Good.
And
how do people find out about the programming? How do they find out about the clinics that you're doing and the
We
huddle?
we advertise on Facebook. We have a website. We do some things through the community. We'll say, hey, this is going on. We'll shoot communications out to people in the FCA community, but just in general, we're out there advertising on social media and that sort of thing. Probably be our biggest.
Now, obviously, like Jacob's Ladder is so closely tied to your identities, but is it like a full-time job for both of you?
Well, yes. For me, it is. It's what I do now, and
Tell me about that transition, because you weren't.
sure.
Organization's been around for 12 years.
Yeah. With the first 10 years, it was like I had a job. I was an account executive for a company that did workers' comp. We tried to get people back to work, and then COVID hit. They retired a bunch of us people that were older and made more money, and so I thought, hey, I'm gonna take that time. I wrote a book about Jake.
Yeah.
And I thought, let's do this. And so that's what I've been doing full time, really, for about 2 years, a little bit over that, something like that. And then Jake, obviously, he's, like I said, he's a fitness instructor, so he comes to some classes with me. And now we're getting to the point where we've outsourced and hired some personal trainers to do our classes, and that is actually good because as we get older, we can't do 12 fitness classes a week anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, but he does.
How many classes do you do a week, Jake?
It depends how many classes we do once. Sometimes we do once or twice. It depends on the timing, what the time is.
Once or twice a day.
Once or twice a day. Yeah.
Yeah, like right now on Mondays, we're in Bedford with a boxing class. Or Tuesdays, we're in Medina, and we're at Christ Church on Tuesday night. Wednesday evening, we have a class in Westlake that one of our fitness person handles that. Thursday, we've got 2 classes, and then Friday, we've sometimes got 2 classes. And plus, we got 2 Zoom classes.
Wow.
And Tuesday and Thursday, we have a Zoom class.
Now, let me ask you this. With the Zoom class, are you working with people that are outside of just Northeast Ohio, Cleveland?
We have, yes, we have a couple from a kid from Michigan. We have a young man from Minnesota who has Angelman syndrome and has been with us for, I don't know, at least a year. And what's his name, Jake?
Cody.
Yeah, Cody, the Codemeister. I call him Cowboy Cody. Because he's sometimes where's a cowboy at?
And he's from Minnesota.
He's from Minnesota. And
the frontier.
yes, and he works at a day program, and his employer said to his mom, she goes, he's been doing really good lately. What have you been doing? And she said, well, he's going to Jacob's Zoom classes. And I thought, wow, we made a difference. So we got him, and we got a kid from Michigan that comes on sometimes. And excuse me, I call them all kids. They're kind of like our kids.
You've already called yourself old, so we can assume that everybody's a child to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as you keep calling me legend, you can call everybody else kids.
So, so we've got, and then we got Greater Cleveland. We have a young man from Sandusky that comes on Zoom sometimes. But mostly it's local people, and they'll come from, 10, 15 miles away. And some have been with us for a long, long time. And we like that. And I'll tell you what we're starting to do now. We're starting to do physical testing. We partnered with Cleveland State University. Awesome people there.
Okay.
They have given us interns. Our interns helped us. Interns are just beautiful people. I mean, they're working on their master's or doctorate, and they're in exercise science, so they're like helping us do research. So they helped us develop a physical test, and now we're testing people, our students, and then we're going to test them in 6 months and say, and we've already had some good results where people have gotten better at their push-ups, gotten better at their planks. They can plank longer. They're stronger, and so we want to measure that and measure an improvement in fitness, which really is what we're kind of looking for.
So when you think about, I mean, there's already been this like progression over time from 12 years ago. I imagine it was much smaller.
Yeah.
A class here, a class there, and now you've got Zoom classes and all these other activities. Think 10 years from now. What do you want to see? What do you want Jacob's Ladder to look like?
I'm grooming a young person to take over for me.
Currently, you're grooming
yes,
someone?
I am. I got a guy picked
Those
out.
are big shoes to fill, Tony.
Well, he's a great guy, great family. He went to Cuyahoga Heights High School. He's a special ed major at Bowling Green, going to graduate. And he's one of these guys, captain of his football team, president of the Interfraternity Council, one of those guys, real good guy, but like,
And he's also part of Camp Pals as well.
He's also runs Camp Pals. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is see him come in and take over. I'd like to see us expand to more churches and organizations and just kind of get people more aware and actually measuring and keep the thing going and maybe develop some apps and all the technical stuff that these young people are good at. And so I'd like to see it continue and grow and blossom, and continue to grow and serve.
What do you need to make that happen?
I need funding. I need more volunteers, which I think I've got a new person that's going to be our director of volunteer recruiting, which is awesome.
Okay.
And so we need that, and we need people to go to corporations and get grants. We actually now have a volunteer grant writer who's coming along. And that's huge, as you probably
Sure.
know. The whole grant thing is like you got to have grants, and there's a science to writing it, and we've got we got a dedicated person that's doing that now. And see, what else do I need? I need more people like Jake to participate.
Yeah.
I've got some of them that I'm working on, getting into to become fitness instructors. And what I like about that is, I want a young parent to say, well, look at that kid. Look how good he does. I want to make my kid like that. I want to get him moving. And the single biggest, I know I'm off topic a bit, but the single biggest indicator of whether a child is going to be active or not, any child, is, you can figure it out, their parents.
Right.
So if we can get the parents aware of that and get the young people started young, it's amazing what you can do. And so I want to promote that culture. In fact, I'm speaking next 2 weeks at an FCA camp, at one of our All Abilities camps, to the parents. I'm going to say, here are some things you can do to get your kid involved at a young age. And they're not like complex things. Do you remember when you were young? Did you ever, in the living room, when you were watching a football game, you play with your siblings or your dad, and they'd throw you around on the couch, and you'd pretend you're carrying the football? Remember all that stuff?
The best part is so I was born in 1985, so you can imagine what this looked like. My dad, it must have cost him a fortune, bought like one of those VHS recorders. So that he could capture those moments. And there's literally still videos. I don't know what he was doing. He'd be home alone with me or my brother and just turn on the recording. And I've seen videos where my dad's like playing with us on the ground and throwing us in the air and doing exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
And that little bonding that we had, and my dad worked an insane amount. And so, but that little bonding that he did with us when we were little,
yes.
when that he found the time for, is something that I think kind of kept that connection strong
yes.
throughout the years. He might have been gone a lot because he had to travel and work long hours, but it was really important to him not only to have that play time with us, but also to memorialize it. And when I
absolutely.
see that stuff now, because now my parents have taken all those VHS tapes and moved them over to DVDs,
Yeah.
and they're probably somewhere digital in a cloud now. But I can see that effort, and it's something that I think about when I'm with my kids. I mean,
That's right.
the from a selfish standpoint, one of the like really important things to me in being a business owner is having the ability to schedule life around my kids. So I'll go to their soccer practice. I'll try and take my daughter on a daddy-daughter date. We were talking earlier about like the trips that I take them on because I want them to have those memories. I'm not able to be at every single thing with two active kids, but I want them to see my presence there. And that's exactly what you're talking about.
Absolutely, and then and then getting them to do activities, and
Yes.
taking them to soccer
Yes.
and this and that, and
So
that kind
important.
of stuff. And the other thing that we want to see is we in the disability community as parents, and we're not bad people. We sometimes feel sorry for the kids,
Yes.
and that comes out as, okay, honey, eat whatever you want, and just you just eat. I mean, whatever. It's waffles and syrup for breakfast. I mean, it could be anything. And so I have seen that in action, and I want to help those people. I want to say, wait a second, it's okay. I understand. I get it. But let's say, why don't we cut down on certain things? Why don't we get the kid active in fitness and create a culture of family activity?
Yes.
And so now he's kind of taken over. Like, I'm trying to create a culture in him where he says, well, I'm going to work out. I don't need you, Dad. I'm going to go work out on my own. I'll go down the basement. I got the equipment. I got all the stuff I need. I'm going to work out on my own. That's what now at his age, at 23, that's what I want him to be able to do, is to do that. So we're trying to impact parents. We're trying to impact them to say, hey, rather than this be a burden, a cross to me, these guys are blessings. And there are certain insights that they have that we just miss. And I'll give you an example. We have one of the things we do is a ball toss. We have a heavy ball, let's say it weighs 5 pounds or 8 pounds, and it's soft, and we toss it back and forth, like a chess toss. Well, him and I, especially if he's ticked at me, we can take a 10-pound ball and just
You destroy your dad.
yes, and just fire it back and forth. And I'm proud of that. But when he gets with other people, this happened yesterday. He was with a young lady with a disability, and she had like a 2-pound ball, and he got her to catch that ball, and she can't talk. And one of the staff members came up to me afterwards, and she goes, "Your son was awesome." She goes, "He took that ball and was patient with that girl and got her to catch the ball." Had never done that apparently before. So that's kind of what I see that in him with the good heart. So he's never going to throw a ball hard at somebody else.
Sure.
He's just going to he gets it, and there's just that gentleness about him, and so have expectations. I want parents to have expectations, and I want to help them make the kids healthier, and say no. It's okay to say no.
And I love that because I'm not sure how much you guys know about my story. Like I went to a special school for children with behavior issues and learning disorders, and bad medical history. I still live with motor tic syndrome, and I had epilepsy when I was a child, and so that was really bad. Yeah, but my parents never coddled me in that way. Their expectation for me was, you're still an intelligent person. You can still, push through that. They gave me the supports that I needed, but they didn't take excuses. And now as an adult, and this is something that I've spoken about and written about a lot, is this concept of other people see disability, but what they really should see is diffability. It's just we're differently abled.
Yeah.
Whatever Jake might not be able to do, that somebody else could do, he can connect with that little girl
Yes.
in a way that, a normative person might not be able to,
Yes.
because of that emotional connection. And that's one of the things that inspires me every day, is knowing my background and being able to look at people and say, I know what it's like to not have a mind that works the same way as everybody else, but I can connect with you in that way, and I want to use that gift that I have, that connection, to help you achieve what you're looking for. And it's why we offer so many other services in the office. But
that's a good. Your parents had expectations.
Yeah.
And they were like,
I'm
okay.
38 years old. They still have expectations. It doesn't stop.
Look at where you
Yeah.
are now. You're running a law firm.
Right.
And you're doing
Right.
great stuff. And that's kind of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is I want to minister to those parents. And and there's parents who have kids with severe disabilities.
Yeah.
But I want to minister to them. But at the same time, I want to say, hey, it's okay to say, we're going to go for a walk tonight. The family's going to go for a walk.
Yes.
Let the kids say, well, I don't want to go. I just say, no, we're going for a walk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that kind of mentality of have expectations, show respect by having expectations, and maybe say, okay, we're going to go for a walk, or we're going to go for a workout. We're going to go downstairs and work out. But do something. I'll give you another example. In our cul-de-sac, there's 17 houses, and there's almost each one, there's 10, 12 kids that are Jake's age growing up in the neighborhood. I swear, he is the only one that mowed the lawn. The others, the parents, I saw the parents out mowing the lawn. Wait a second now, I got a guy here, he can mow the lawn. And now, his things were, at first, were curved, they weren't straight. Now he does that.
It's okay. If you curve it enough, it'll balance out. You just got to come back the other way and curve it the same amount the other direction. I hear you. I hear you.
He rides, we have a riding mower because we have a pretty big lot. He rides that. And interestingly enough, going back to his birth, the doctor said to my wife, when she was alone, he said, well, there's a 99% chance your child has Down syndrome. And he said, you should be happy because they used to take the mongoloids. Yes.
The doctor said that to you?
Yes. And institutionalize them from birth. And she's like going like this. Oh my God. And he says, he'll probably never read or write or drive a car or really do anything. But there's some books at the front desk if you want. See you later. And walks out of the room. And she was like just taken aback.
Yeah.
But then she held him. And then it was like, all right, dude, we're just full speed ahead. And so there's this other concept called enabled entitlement. And so what it is people in the special needs community sometimes work us for things. And if you got time, I got a story from my book about this young man. And so he's 13 years old. We had him in swimming lessons. All right. Now Karen had him in the water when he was an infant. We had him in swimming lessons. He's 13. The lady who taught the swimming lessons wasn't a special ed swim instructor. She was a swim instructor, and she was like, "You're going to learn to swim, buddy." And so she had him in 2 months. She had him going off the 15-foot high wall at the pool in Strong's. So one day he's at the deep end. He's swimming down the pool. He starts to go down a little bit. Well, my wife, being a good mom, starts to get up and go rescue her pumpkin. The swim instructor sticks her arm out and says, "Sit down, he's fine." And we were like, "Whoa!" But we were like, "Okay." Well, in 2 seconds,
he's fine.
He's fine. He swims down. Didn't even notice us. Okay, so she had expectations. Same pool. About a year later, Sunday morning Special Olympics swimming practice. He can't swim. He's crippled. He's lame. He's like, what's going on? Well, some of the volunteers that help out the Special Olympics that have never met him are female high school swimmers in bathing suits, and they're in the water. And Jacob has found one, and she doesn't know he can swim. So he's got his hands around her, and he's just like smiling and working it.
Yeah.
He's working the system. So Karen comes over, she goes, throw his butt in the water. He can swim. The girl was startled, she's like, lets him go, swims away. And I see that in other situations where people with disabilities know how to work it. They really do. So you have to have those expectations
Right.
with grace. But
I love that.
I see it all the time. And in fact, people have seen after what we do, they'll say, you got him to do that? I'll go, yeah, we did. I go, he wasn't able to do that before. Because we kind of said, do it. You can do this. And had expectations. So that's
I love that. It's an amazing lesson. And everything that we've talked about today is just an incredible lesson. And I'm committed, Liner Legal is committed to continuing to help you guys grow. So there's a few things that we want to do. First of all, one, we want to figure out any type of programming that we can get our workforce involved with. You said you're looking for volunteers. We've got people. But the other thing that I want to do, because you've got financial goals, is we're going to make a $2,500 contribution to Jacob's Ladder, so that you guys can do more programming and help more people. And I'm really excited that you guys are here and that we have your friendship and your support for so many of the things that we work on, with the same audience. We just want to help people. We do it different ways, but at the end of the day, it's about helping people get stronger. And I'm just really grateful that we're going to continue working with you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Now,
very much.
We've come to one of my favorite parts. We've been staring at these donuts for the last half an hour, so I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. I don't know about you guys. We've got an assortment here. Normally we're all eating the same, but we're here in Chagrin Falls at the Mad Hatter Donuts. And we have a couple different flavors that we've chosen. Tony's a chocolate cake glazed guy.
Cake glazed. And
I've decided to match Jake with, what do we have here? Is this this is a cream-filled, chocolate-covered donut. I'm going to cheers to you, brother. Here we go. To a great future.
Oh, my God.
It's actually really good.
It is good.
We're talking about how we're all on this. We've got the Liner Legal Largest Loser Project. You guys spread a mission of fitness, and here we are chomping on donuts together, but we can all take a day off.
Once in a while.
Yeah, God allows us to take a day off once a week. Today's our day,
Once in a while.
I guess. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm so glad you came out.
Thank you. God bless
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Triple D Podcast, Donuts, Disability, and Discourse. Rate, subscribe, and tune in next week for more discourse and donuts.